Good morning, INTERWEB. Let's world build. When creating a language, the first and most important step is to write down all the sounds the language uses. Without this, you'll end up with a mess of sounds that are implausible, contradictory, and incomprehensible to both you and anyone wishing to speak your language. This is not a good thing. Avoid this by setting yourself some rules. Here's mine. 1. The sounds my language uses should, for the most part, come from English. Rare, non-English sounds are totally permitted, but only if they're relatively easy to produce. No point creating a language that neither you nor I can speak. And 2. The fewer sounds, the better. I'm a minimalist. I want my language to reflect my personality. Those sound like some good parameters, Xidnaf?
I never agreed to this.
Hey, if I hadn't helped you with your video, you would have missed all the interesting stuff. You owe me one. Now help me with my video.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, you want to mostly use English sounds, and you want to use very few sounds. So we're basically gonna hack at this until it fits in a shoebox?
Couldn't have said it any better, Xidnaf. That way, it'll feel exotic, yet familiar.
Good work.
Okay, let's start with vowels. From a minimalist standpoint, English has way too many vowels. How about we knock it down to a 3-vowel system? Something like a, e, and o.
Wait, a, e, and o? Usually when languages only have 3 vowels, they have a, e, and u. Classical Arabic, Southern Quechua, Aleut, Greenlandic, all of them have those 3 vowels. So you should probably change that o to an u.
Aw, but I like the sound of o. Also, Piraha features a 3-vowel system with o instead of u.
Huh, alright, well if a known language does it, then I guess I'm fine with it. Still seems kinda weird, but also kind of cool and exotic? Now that I think about it, it's kinda growing on me.
I like it too. I mean, we're using the entire vowel space, and we're sticking to the vocalic universals, which basically state that all human languages distinguish vowel height and have at least one back, one front, and one unrounded vowel.
Alright, a, e, and o it is then. With such a small vowel inventory, we might want to add at least something else. We could introduce tones, or phonemic length, or
diphthongs!
Or we could just be boring, throw in some diphthongs, and call it a day.
See, I'm thinking we should go all in with the diphthongs. Let's allow every possible combination of vowel pairs. I, ao, io, ia, oi, and oa.
You know, you're allowed to have diphthongs that aren't just combinations of monophthongs you already have. Like, my dialect of English has an O diphthong, but no pure O monophthong.
Yeah, but it makes it simpler and easier to understand, and it has a symmetry to it which I really like.
Yeah, that's reasonable. So, 3 monophthongs and 6 diphthongs for a total of 9 vowel sounds. That it?
Actually, now that I think about it, we should probably add in the schwa. The schwa is that kind of sound we English speakers produce during unstressed syllables. Think telephone, support, about, present, and condition. It is by far the most common sound in English, and chances are that when I begin speaking my language, I'll begin schwaing any unstressed syllables. Might be prudent to include this sound if for no other reason than to cover my ass. So yeah, 4 pure vowels and 6 diphthongs. Happy?
Quite. Can we move on to consonants now?
Yeah, so I'm thinking some of these plosives need to go.
Dude, we only have 6 to begin with. That's like the bare minimum.
Either we get rid of all voiced plosives, ba, da, ga, or all unvoiced plosives, pa, ta, ka.
You want to only have one voicing for the plosives?
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's plausible. When dealing with sounds, it's good to think in terms of features. Adding or removing entire places of articulation, manners of articulation, or voicings is more natural than picking and choosing sounds randomly. But if you don't mind me asking, why?
Conlang fan service. See, most famous conlangs have a habit of omitting entire areas of sound. Navi features only voiceless plosives, Klingon features no velar plosives, and Dothraki features no bilabial plosives. I like Navi's system the best, so I'm thinking we should only have voiceless plosives. Pa, ta, ka.
That's probably the nerdiest thing I've ever heard, but Potoko sounds like a good idea to me. Although, maybe we should also add in the glottal stop. Like, we already kind of have it in English, but we do it in weird, random, phonotactically convenient places. Making it a proper sound could simplify things. We could use it to differentiate between words like pai and pai. As long as we use it strictly between vowels, I think it'll be easy for most people to pronounce, and it'll also make your language sound cooler.
Funny you mentioned the glottal stop. There's a Klingon opera.
A what?
A Klingon opera. Oh man, it's magnificent.
Never mind. That was the nerdiest thing I've ever heard.
Anyways, the opera is called Oo, only it's not called Oo, it's called glottal stop, oo glottal stop. Just thinking about pronouncing this breaks my brain, so I think you're right. Intervowel glottal stops are the way to go. Bit like the Navi words a-ow and a-a-ow. Alright, plosives done.
Now, as we continue, we should probably keep in mind that languages tend to be symmetrical in their places and manners of articulation. So, like, if you have a bunch of sounds of a particular place of articulation and a bunch of sounds of a particular manner of articulation, then you're much more likely to have a sound with both that place of articulation and manner of articulation. So, in this case, we're probably going to want to have nasals with the same places of articulation as our plosives. So, which is exactly what we already have. Unless you want to do something very strange here, let's just keep the nasals as they are.
As much as it pains me not to cut things, I think you're right. Ma, na, nga, it is. Speaking of keeping things the same as in English, I think we should keep all the approximants, ra, ya, and la. However, I'd like to devoice the labiovelar approximant, that is, wa should become hwa. I am quite fond of approximants, they always remind me of the majestic beauty of the Elvish languages.
Sounds good. Let's move on to fricatives. Again, for the sake of symmetry, we should probably add at least one velar fricative.
How about the voiceless velar fricative? Ha! It seems like the natural choice given that my dialect has it in words like loch, and it's a sound common to many fantasy languages.
Cool, is in.
And the dental fricatives are out.
Wait, why?
My dialect of English doesn't have them. For me, these are not teeth, rather teat. I'd like to comfortably be able to speak my own language, so tha and tha have to go. And while we're hacking away at things, do we really need sha and ja? I mean, I could live with just fa, va, sa, za, ha, and ha.
Yeah, so could I. It's minimal, but it works, and it also makes it more symmetrical. Taps or flaps?
Nope.
Agreed. And no trills, so we're done. Finally.
Actually, here's an idea.
What now?
How about we make this language a trill-heavy language? Trills sound amazing, such rich sounds. I love them.
Alright, let's move the alveolar approximant to an alveolar trill, Simple. A word like ras would become ras. I really like this. Let's do it.
Okay, but the only problem is that I can't roll my R's.
What? Come on, sure you can. Try saying ras.
I'm telling you, Xidnaf, I can't.
Try it.
Ras. Ras. Nope.
Wow. Considering you love trills so much, that's kind of tragic. Well, we can't put a sound in your language that you can't pronounce yourself, so maybe we should just give up on trills.
Not necessarily. Let's put in a bilabial trill. Bra. It's really easy to pronounce, and it plays up to this idea of consonant symmetry.
I don't know, it's a seriously rare sound.
All the more reason to drop it in. It'll give the language a very distinctive sound.
Okay, but why not go the whole way and add in the uvular trill too? Ugh. I mean, you did just say you want a trill-heavy language, and including it will make things more symmetrical. Granted, a velar trill would be better, but I'm not entirely sure velar trills are actually possible. Our uvular trill then acts as a velar trill substitute in a way, and our alveolar approximant acts like an alveolar trill substitute.
Sold. This is a great idea. Right, that's consonants done. On to affricates.
Do we have to?
I'm thinking we should have tsa, fa, and cha. Thoughts?
Ph? Does that even exist in human languages?
Yeah, German has it. The German for horse is Pferd.
Oh, wow, I really should have known that. Okay, but it's a seriously difficult sound to produce. I know you're half German and all, but most of us aren't, and on all of our behalf, I'm begging you, drop the ph. Actually, ts isn't much better. It's a little easier, but think of how many English speakers actually pronounce tsunami the original Japanese way. Tsunami. Not many.
Yeah, good point. I suppose if we're cutting tsa and pfa, we may as well cut cha and just have no affricates.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. So, now are we done?
I think we are, Xidnaf. I think we are. Looks like we've created a trill-heavy reduction of English. Not the most adventurous phonological inventory ever devised, but it'll make for a very useful demo conlang. Thanks for coming on board the good ship Artifexian, Xidnaf. 'Twas an absolute honour having you.
Okay, great. Can I go now? Not that I don't like hanging out and creating languages and stuff, but ever since I got here, I felt all weird and bloated. Can I get back to my own channel now?
Okay, you may leave.
Woohoo!
Good morning, INTERWEB. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in comments what you think about the phonological inventory myself and Xidnaf created. Speaking of Xidnaf, a huge thank you has to go out to the guy. It's a real honour and privilege to be able to work with someone you really admire. But when it comes to saying thank you, actions are sometimes louder than words. So as a way of showing my gratitude, I asked Xidnaf would he come up with the first word of this new language. He did, and that word is rao, which means bye. But before you go, I really encourage the population of Artifexian to mobilise and head on over to his channel. It is an awesome channel and a brilliant conlanging resource. Can't recommend it enough. So hit the links on screen or in the description for more Artifexian content, like, and if you think I earned it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. Edgar out.